Joining us on The Informer, Wayne Flower from the Daily Mail. G'day mate, how are you?
Very good, George, thanks.
Now, each and every week we get Wayne to talk about a host of stories that you've been covering. And one has very much got you busy at the moment, and it took you to Maui yesterday. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it did. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue over this particular murder case. Jared Loverson was vanished about 6 months ago. He was last seen getting around town on a pushbike. He's a very well-known chap, lived in the area his whole life, vanished. So the town, of course, has been looking where has this man gone?
Yep.
This week, police have laid a murder charge against a young lady called Samantha.
So have they found a body?
They found the body out in the bush,
Okay.
and a barista out in the little town of Trafalgar, just outside of Maui there, has been charged with his murder. Now, Samantha is a quite attractive young lady, was popular in the area.
Mm-hmm.
I went out to Trafalgar yesterday, had a coffee in that cafe. Understandably, the owners there were not too keen to discuss the matter.
I can imagine their reticence, yes.
being linked to a murder. But after she was charged on the Tuesday,
Right.
and then a day later, 2 other gentlemen have been charged over the murder as well.
Okay, so clearly something has come up from that initial opportunity to interrogate her. And of course, then from that, 2 men have also been included and
two
are
other
now part of
locals.
the investigation.
Yep, 2 other locals have been charged.
So all up 3 people.
3 people, and 2 others were also questioned and let loose.
Okay.
A couple of them lived just around the corner from that cafe where Samantha worked. Seems to be, by accounts of the locals around that area, that they're stunned that this young lady could be charged with a murder. She'd get around town with a little dog, would sit chat for 15 minutes or so with people at a time when they're getting their coffees.
The last person you would think.
The last person you'd think could be involved in a horrific murder with, allegedly with 2 other blokes. And she also had posted on her Instagram about the time that Lovo, they called him, disappeared out at the forest with her little dog, saying she was out, having an adventure. And then she's turned up that she's been charged with this murder. So for the locals out in Maui, we would all remember those old enough to would remember little Jaden Lesky, who disappeared in 1997.
Yeah.
Another mystery, he wasn't found, I think it was months later.
Yeah, it was months later. I remember covering the story for Channel 10 years ago, and yes, you're right, it was a terrible period and a dark one for all those in Maui, and it cast a great shadow over the region.
Well, everyone remembers Maui because of that case and the tragedy of it. It was a mystery, and it remains a mystery because Greg Domisavage, who was charged over that murder, was found not guilty.
So we await to see now. This goes to court.
Yeah, this is going through court. That more people may yet be charged. That why this man has been murdered by these 3. It remains a mystery. The police obviously don't need much help from the media anymore. I think they have a very good idea about what's transpired. So we watch and wait there.
Okay. What else have you been working on?
Interesting. Just as today, this morning, a young lady called Jamie Lee Doligai was just sentenced over a murder of a young man that she had met on a dating app. The interesting thing about Jamie Lee Doligai, mind you, she has been sentenced for murder to a minimum of 5.5 years. She has already served almost 3 years, so she'll be out of jail in a little over 2 years. She's only aged 19. She's committed this murder at about 18. She'd been in DHS care most of her life. The minute that, under 24-hour care, almost the minute that they let her loose as an adult, as an 18-year-old, she committed a murder. Deeply, deeply disturbed young lady that at the age of about 14, I witnessed with my own eyes her in the Supreme Court on another matter when she was a child, turn into a wolf in the court dock and attacked court staff, biting them, had to be dragged out of that courtroom. And for those of us who witnessed her that day, you could have swore that she would go on to murder someone, and sadly...
If she ever got out of care. But how did she get out of care?
Well, she never went to jail over that incident that she was, or juvenile detention that she was in for, over the incident where she turned into a wolf. She's been failed by the system, clearly, but, you know, the system has failed this young man who she's murdered, and she will need some very serious help on release in, you know, a little over 2 years. So watch out, Jamie Lee Donikian.
We hear almost weekly of the failures of a number of different departments. This is the sort of mistake you don't want to see done. It's also the sort of challenge that we need to address ASAP. If there is a problem in that bureaucracy, let's make sure we do fix it. And I'll be very keen to hear what more is written about this story and about this young woman. If you want to know any more, the Daily Mail, the man who's following the story is our very own reporter at large. He's the roaming Wayne Flower.
Thank
you,
mate.
mate.
Cheers.